Hi guys, so in this video we are going to cover kind of the final tips and tricks. Some of it's equipment and some of it's learning your terrain, and that's one of the downsides of chasing storms is you're going to ski resorts you're not familiar with. Whereas if you routinely ski at one ski resort, you know all the features to it. Particularly when you have, vision is such an important component to skiing, and when you have storms all the time that limit your vision, knowing the terrain can be a really big help. So this first little section we're going to watch, this is in Mount Hood Meadows and Heather Canyon. This particular run has a feature that you can't see that causes me to crash, and it also shows the value for old school powder skiers. There's one component of gear that is special called the powder cord, which you guys are probably familiar with. If somebody else stumbles upon this video and doesn't know what a powder cord is, you'll see it here in a second. And powder cords are incredibly valuable. I have spent, on a good powder day, you could spend hours digging for a ski that is 2-3 feet into that new snow and you can't find it, and it's super hard to. You just waste your whole day, and it's one of the best days of the year, and all your friends hate you. So powder cords are a good investment. So in this run, we're in the cloud basically, right? It's really hard to start. This old camera didn't take good footage, and the slope changes, and there's a little lull that allows snow to accumulate, and I ski into it. And what happens? My center of mass kept going. My feet stopped because they hit this really dense area of deeper snow, and I ejected from both skis. And so this is the powder cord. You can see it trailing there. Didn't need it in this case because this snow was above the snowpack. I mean, this ski was above the snowpack, but the other ski was kind of more buried. But the other thing to point out here is a lower din. So like I said, I ski on a din of 9, and that's because I'd rather have this happen to me than tear an ACL or some other more catastrophic injury. This sucks. Tearing an ACL or a catastrophic bone injury, that's the end of your season or 2 seasons or however long the recovery takes. So I would rather crash and dig my skis out, I guess. And we'll see the same area later on in the set. So just things to look at. So moving on, this is another section that you guys will have seen before. So this is Accordion Bowl. You saw in another video. You can see that the ski patrol had controlled it, and so here is a slide of the dirty snow from where the bomb went off, and a small slide. You saw in the other video the slides went further down the slope, so it tells you something about the snow. It's probably a little heavier. The trees, there's more trees exposed, so I'd reckon that this is earlier in the year. This is heavier, pretty deep snow, and I'm on those mogul skis as usual. And as I mentioned before, you can see these trees. They are missing their limbs on one side, and so they're getting bent over, and that tells you again that the slab avalanches are common in the area. And then sometimes you hit trees on accident, not like that other guy. So this is what happened. Well, just like before in that first segment, I was making a turn, and the snow is so deep and heavy that my feet kind of got stopped, so my center of mass got really pushed forward, and that caused me to eject out of a ski. And here you can see the powder cord and how really valuable it can be, because that ski is in the snow somewhere, and I'm able to very quickly locate it. And if I hadn't had that powder cord, you have to trace your tracks and climb up slope and hopefully find it. Oftentimes it's not where you think it is, so those powder cords really can save a lot of time. And if they don't sell them anymore, you can probably make them because it's just orange fabric and a little rubber gripper. Okay, we're going to move on to a section of video that really I'm only showing this section of video because you've seen it in my very first video where I talk about the absorption and extension cycle and how it's out of phase from mogul skiing. Well, this is that same run. This is the same run on a different, obviously 10 years ago or something like that. So that first set of photos was taken right down this fall line. The second set of photos in that video was taken here, and the third set of photos was taken on the other side of these trees. Just for frame of reference, this is what it looked like. This is what the slope looks like from the skier's point of view. The one limb has broken off of this tree and is fallen right here. I only bring that up because the slopes do change every now and then. If there's an earthquake or major storm event, you can have a change that the best line used to be right here next to the trees, but now you can't ski that until later in the year because there's a big limb that's in the way. Anyway, just so you can see what the slope looked like from the skier's perspective, and this was better snow than the video from last year. Very snowy. Okay. So we're going to move on. Just a couple more things for you guys to be aware of. So this is the same section in Heather Canyon where I had that double ejection in elastable skis. Here you're going to be able to see that terrain feature, and so you can see it now. It's like there's like a bowl shape that's in the slope. So I think that there's a creek or a spring or something comes out of the ground right here, and there's extra erosion on the dirt, and so when the snow starts filling it in, there's like a little natural bowl. And what happens is again, the wind is moving, and when there's this change, a quick drop like that, you get a rotation in that lull, and it deposits more snow, and the density changes. So the snow density changes, and the quantity of snow changes. So just like before, here I can see it, but when again, your feet kind of stop, so you go over the handlebars. And that time I could feel it happening, so I kind of tucked and rolled, and I didn't lose a ski, but I was anticipating it because I think that was like the following storm or something that between the two. Okay, and the last thing we're going to look at is a shot that just illustrates how the sun is your enemy, particularly in the springtime. So this was a good spring storm. Very cold came through in late April, and it was one of their last weekends that they were open, the ski resort. And it deposited a lot of snow, but it was also, the storm came and went, and it was very sunny after it left. And I skied this is midday, this is right around noon, and the snow is already ruined. So I am hop turning to get out of the snowpack so that the apex of the turn and the rotation is all is in the air and out of the snow, because this is not snow I'd want to get stuck in. And it's not very much fun to ski. You can see when you see these kind of lines, these little balls, it's either really dry snow on a steep slope that does that, or it's really goopy snow like this, where it's so sticky it will make a snowball and roll down the hill. This is the goopy bad version. And you can get an idea of how I'm really trying to lift myself out of the snow, because I don't want to be in it during the rotation of the turn, because I'm afraid it will make me crash. So those are kind of tips and tricks to be aware of as you ski different types of snow that you're going to encounter if you're lucky. And hopefully we get to ski in together. Okay, that's it for this video.